Today we're going to be talking about Father Preston. So let's see. If you haven't read Crisis, Poveglia, or The 40th Day, you'll probably want to skip this one. So Father Preston started off as a foil for Vincent, obviously. I knew who he was from, so at the end of The Cured, at the very end, when he comes into the barn and he's this mysterious figure and he says, I'm the cure. I knew that he was going to be he would naturally have fought off the bacteria. That was the premise. And he was meant to be a foil for Vincent. So he was going to be one of his brothers from that point, but his personality I didn't really develop until Crisis. So again, we've talked about that my original major in college was peace and conflict studies, and I did a lot of research then and continuing on different leaders, different societies. And when I was going through college, there was a class about our relationship with Iran, the U.S., a relationship with Iran, and all the things that we've done there. But one little, and that could fill videos and videos and videos, but one little piece that that stuck with me. We were talking about the Ayatollah, and we were also talking about, at the time when I was in college, George W. Bush was in office. And we were talking about the differences between somebody that uses religious belief but doesn't necessarily believe it, that uses it to control other people, and somebody that is a true believer, and how you would think that the person that uses the belief against people would be more dangerous because they know what they're doing. But in actual, history, the people that are true believers are much harder to negotiate with because they have these rigid belief structures that don't allow them to negotiate. And we were talking about that with both of these men, honestly, that both of them were true believers, just in different systems, obviously. So I wanted Father Preston to be that kind of true believer whose rigid belief structure couldn't be negotiated away. He wouldn't soften because of his beliefs. He may feel bad about what happens, but he thinks it's just. Unlike, say, Gray, who is using these people's beliefs to do harm, Preston really believes what he's doing is the right thing. And he believes it up to the point of disaster in the 40th day, when he and Vincent have that conversation about Father Preston realizing he's been betrayed by Gray and that he has contributed to this misery, and that he tells Vincent, I wanted to help. And Vincent tells him, well, help then. Stop hiding behind this shield of religion and do the actual work. And that's kind of the beginning of his, I wouldn't say full redemption arc, because I don't think he's fully redeemed at the end, but his attempt at a redemption arc. Let's see. The story that I have tried and failed to write about Frank, that I will someday finish, starts with him and Frank. So he is with Frank in the beginning of that. So you will see more of Father Preston whenever I do finish that story, and it will be a more redeemed quality than he was in Crisis, obviously. He also, sorry, that's cricket. He also, sorry, I've forgotten what I wanted to say. I've lost it now. I'm sorry. Anyhow, he is probably the most complex villain that I have, because he wouldn't think of himself as a villain, just like Dr. Pozzo, but like given the chance, unlike Dr. Pozzo, he desperately wants to be good. He wants his miracle. He wants to be faithful. He wants to be beloved, and doesn't understand that he's doing terrible things until he eventually does. He's just very flawed, and I kind of like that about him, as much as I dislike his character. But anyway, I guess that's all I have to talk about with him. We're getting close to the end here. Tomorrow we'll talk about Savita, and then after that we're going to talk about the new story. Okay, I'll talk to you later.